to open it up to a few questions and answers, but first let me say something. This book here is $29.95. If you decide you want to give one in a moment, me and my wife will get it. You give my wife the money, don't give it to me. You can write a check. If you want to write a check, we forgot to bring the credit card thing. We really did. So you can use a credit card. But if you want to write a check, it's $29.95, this particular book. These laser print posters here, and we might have 20 different prints and covers and fronts. You can come up here and look at them. We'll spread them out. We'll autograph these. These laser print posters are $5 a piece. If you want to be able to get my cookbook, now right now we're having a problem with the printer, but this cookbook here, this is called Barbecue with Bobby, the only down-home hickory smoked southern style barbecue cookbook guide in the United States of America. This is my book. I wrote this. I've been barbecuing since I was 12 years of age. Hopefully we're going to get with the printers and you can be able to order this off the internet. My website, of course, is www.bobbyseale.com, and then there's another domain name called www.bobbyqseale.com, BOBBYQUESEALE. You can also, this book here, Seize the Time, is the first book on the Black Panther Party. I wrote this book while I was 2 years of political prison in this country. Most of you don't know that we won 95% of all our political cases in the United States of America. But I won my cases, and while I was in jail, I finished this book. So we can do that in a moment. And we're going to bring some of these books out in case you want us to autograph some. I would like to answer a couple of questions before we close out and go to the reception area. Is there any questions? Yes, please. Could you just stand up and ask it so everybody gets the benefit of your question?
Yes, I'd like to ask you whether or not the Black Panther Party is still in existence, and if it is or if it isn't, what would you see the direction for the party?
Actually, our network with over 1,000 former Black Panther Party members in the United States of America. We're much older guys, people, we send our kids to college and things like this. There were 5,000 people in the Black Panther Party at its peak at the beginning of 1969, of the year of 1969. I would say more than half of those people were hardworking people, maybe a third of them were rally Panthers, and others were in and out kind of people, but it's 5,000. But with 1,000 I'm still networked with, probably 80% of them have some kind of college degree, at least a BA degree or something like that. A large portion of them work in various kind of community type service programs in various cities throughout the country. Remember, we was in 45 cities and chapters from New York to Los Angeles, from Seattle, Washington, Atlanta, Georgia. We were all over the country. No, our organization as an out-front functioning organization does not necessarily exist anymore as it did in the 1960s. When I resigned from the Black Panther Party at a point in 1974, when we had dwindled down from 5,000 to only about 250 members, when I resigned, 3/4 of the remaining 250 people in mid-1974 also left the Black Panther Party. That was the end of that particular organization. This other organization you hear about, the New Black Panthers, out of Dallas, Texas, who went down to Jasper, Texas, etc. Actually, that group has been sued by the former Black Panther Party members out of Texas. They won the suit too. They have a disagreement. The Texas Panthers have a former party members of my former organization out of the Dallas chapter branch and the Houston chapter branch sued them and said that they didn't like these guys because they talk too much revenge type politics. And they're not talking real power to the people. They're not doing real programs that we were about. There's another organization that I support very much called the New Black Panther Party Vanguard. It's out on the West Coast, Southern California, around Los Angeles, Pasadena, California, Los Angeles. They're a pretty good group, you know. They rewrote that old 10-point program. The original 10-point platform and program is in this book, Seize the Time. I only have a couple of these with me, but my point is, they rewrote that and extended that 10-point program. Now that group is composed mostly of younger people, but led by 2 or 3 former Los Angeles chapter, Southern California, Los Angeles chapter Black Panther Party members. So we know them, we talk to them, this 1,000 that I work with. There's several alumni groups. There's a group called the Seize the Time Committee, named after my book. They are former Black Panther Party members, you know, periodically get together. There's the It's About Time Committee. There's a New York Black Panther Party Kathleen Cleaver, she was the wife of Eldridge Cleaver. Eldridge Cleaver just died this year, May 1st, 1998 here. She's a law professor now. She runs a sort of a women's collective of former Black Panther Party women. Now that's really what's going on. In other words, we've sent our kids to college, we're becoming grandparents and stuff like this. We're not up and down the streets. Most of the people I talk to maintain that higher education, whether it's personally evolved, etc., is key because we're on what we call a low tide. Remember, the 60s was high tide protests. We hit a low tide after the 70s, and then we almost had a high tide get ready to kick in the mid-80s with the apartheid issue in South Africa, where they kicked back and went the other way, in a positive way, in fact, because Nelson Mandela also became the president of his country. A man I also admire very much because of his cooperational humanistic statements. We want to build a non-racist and a non-sexist. He's consistent with the non-sexist too, society. Very important. Because this man's looking to the future. As old as he is, his sacrifices and what he stood for is to evolve this. It makes good human sense. But no, the Black Panther Party does not exist. To me, it's not so much in the name. It's the content. If you look at the old Black Panther Party that I talked about, it was about power to the people. All the breakfast for children programs, 250,000 kids being fed 5 days a week. 28 free preventative medical health care clinics in this country with free pharmacies, and we did that with no government money. 2,000 different arrests of Black Panther Party members. 10% of them actually went to court. Of the 10% of the court trials in this country of Black Panther Party members, we won 95% of them. I think we did a damn good job. You know what I mean? But that's where we are. There's no real organization that I created, that I was the founder of there, but there's a network of us through these various alumni groups. Yes?
I find it interesting that you mentioned Philadelphia this morning.
Yeah.
Because this is November 1970, the party of the Constitution Convention at University.
Right.
To rewrite the Constitution, I had to consider that 20 years ago.
Okay, right on.
And I'm wondering what concrete things came out of that convention that you had to consider.
You know what? I couldn't even tell you because at the time that political convention was going on, I was a political prisoner in jail in 1970. I didn't come out to 1971, if you remember.
Right.
I don't know the particulars on that. When I come out of jail, that issue has been set to the background. Well, I do say this here.